Fantastic Four came out last weekend, and I guess we can say it was bad? Didn't make a lot of money, and it was poorly received, and it's even saying that Fox might even continue on with the franchise with these characters and their ridiculous costumes, and I mean, the thing doesn't even have any pants on. How are you going to explain that to your kids when they're seeing this movie? They're going to be scarred! But I digress. Now, I personally didn't get to see Fant 4 Stick, because it was so terrible, and I didn't want to spend my buttloads of cash on seeing a movie. I preferred to see a movie for free. It's already getting so much hate, and I decided not to do a review on that. I decided to do a review on Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four from 1994. I mean, look at them. Don't they look happy? What's the worst that could happen? Now, we know at the time the studio that made this movie was only making this movie so that they could keep the rights to the Fantastic Four, but I will say there were a few upsides to this movie. Costumes are comic book accurate, even Dr. Doom's, looking like he'd look straight out of a comic book, skirt and all. But the movie is still terrible.
The Fantastic Four.
And there's another character who's like a mole man sewer guy who's trying to steal a diamond for something. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. And the CGI is pretty craptastic too. I mean, you do have to realize they spent the majority of the budget on the Thing's costume, which actually doesn't look too bad sometimes. But sometimes it can also look pretty terrible, like here.
Look at me!
Now, there are two different actors portraying Ben Grimm in The Thing. Shown here is the other actor playing Ben Grimm, and he's noticeably taller than everybody else. But once he turns into The Thing, he becomes shorter than everybody else, which is kind of disappointing for a hulking man, but it doesn't really matter when he's got sweet moves like these. Now, they do show the character's powers similar to how it was in the comics, first being Johnny with his fire powers, and Sue with her invisibility powers, and even Reed gets in on the action with his sweet broom hands. Now, I do understand that this movie wasn't supposed to be seen by regular audiences, but the cast and crew all believed that they were making a movie to be seen by regular audiences, which is actually the subject of this documentary, The Untold Story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four, Doomed. But it's a pretty good documentary. You guys should check it out. This movie, however, is not. It is just completely boring and a complete mess. The actors are terrible, and the special effects are even worse. I mean, look at this right here. It's ridiculous. And I just don't recommend watching it because it's terrible. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. But I will say that it did make me look back on the original Fantastic Four movies and appreciate them. I mean, they weren't great, but they did have their moments. They were good romps and good fun at times. And I mean, at least this thing had pants on. And that's pretty much the best you can say about these movies. That's why this movie gets 2 thumbs down. I don't recommend watching it. The acting is terrible. Point in case this scene here. Also, if you like this, I do have a podcast called Straight Outta Comics that comes out once a week. It's actually on the YouTube channel here. Go ahead and check that out. And let me know what type of Fantastic Four you prefer. Do you prefer the comics, the movies, or what? Let me know in the comments below.